Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan, and today we're gonna do part 2 of our pipe bending video. We got some benders here, and I'm gonna show you the difference between brands and what they are and aren't capable of, and how to use them. I'm gonna show you my choice first. This is an ideal bender, and this is the one I've already showed you on part 1 with the star and the arrow. And right next to it, I'm going to bring you a Gardner. This is one I picked up at a yard sale just so I could show you these. I don't usually bend with the Gardner benders. So you're looking at them going, wow, they look the same, right? You know, they're not quite the same. When I hold the handles straight up on both of these, the Gardner is going to be 45-degree bend, and the Ideal is going to be a 30-degree bend. And we're going to make some offsets today. I'm going to actually use this box as a simulation, and we're going to bend the pipe to get up and over this box. But what we're going to do first is I'm just going to demonstrate the difference in bends. I'm going to put an Ideal here, and I'm just going to bend until my handle is straight up, right there. I'm going to set that bend right here. And now I'm going to grab another pipe. We're going to take our Gardner and do the same thing. Just pull till the handle's straight up. It's got some scraps here for us to play with. All right, and we're going to come straight up with this one. All right, we're calling that straight up. And as you can see, we've got two very different bends here. The Ideal made a 30-degree bend, and the Gardner made a 45-degree bend. I already know this from experience, but I'm just passing it along to you, and you can take that as the gospel truth. If you buy a Gardner and use your handle as a point of reference, you're going to get 45 degrees. If you get an Ideal and you use the handle as a point of reference, you're going to get 30 degrees. Now 30 degrees is desirable, and now I'm going to show you why. Now let's get rid of these. And pick us a nice long piece here. It's reasonably straight. I just went and rated the scrap bend. It's not too bad. Let's say this is an obstacle. This is just a cardboard box, but we're going to measure our obstacle. And I'm measuring 5.5 inches here. So what we're going to do, for anyone that knows the trig tables, your hypotenuse length at 30 degrees is double your rise. So we measured 5.5, so we're going to take and double that. So it's just 11 inches, pretty simple to do. So we're just going to make 2 marks at 11 inches. Here and here. And we really don't care where we do it. This is pretty elementary at this point. But I've got 2 marks at 11 inches there. Now, the only thing that's important is we bend both bends the same direction. So what we'll do is we're going to get our Ideal. We're going to be using 30 degrees. And we're just going to use the arrow, put it on the first line, bend it that direction. We come to our second line, bend it that direction. That way we know our bends are exactly 11 inches apart. And we're going to take our first one here, right on our arrow. And again, we're going to pull till the handle's straight up, right here. Now we're going to flip and get it on our second line, right here. And we're going to clock it so we don't, that's called dogging the pipe. If you dog it, that's when your 2 bends aren't in a straight line with each other. And then we're going to come down here and same thing, straight up. Right there. Yep. And this is what we ended up with. And there we just made it up over our obstacle. Okay, so our pipe's laying flat here, our pipe's laying flat here. We made our obstacle no problem. Now, that's just a simple offset. You can do a 4-point saddle the same way. If you've got just one offset and you want to do it the same thing on the other side, you measure the center of your obstacle, 2 points of reference on each side of your obstacle, and then you do your math on the height of your obstacle from there out. These two bends would go that way, these two bends would go that way. And you're basically using the center line of your obstacle to create a 4-point saddle. A 4-point saddle is just 2 offsets back to back. All right, so that's pretty easy to do. If you were to use the Gardner with the handle straight up method, you're at 45 degrees. Your math now becomes much more complicated. Your hypotenuse length is 1.414, so you're always going to have to whip out a pocket calculator and do your math from there. But it can be done, you know, you can always do it. But I much prefer 30, and there's another reason I prefer 30 degrees. Every bend, or every 3 bends, you get 90 degrees. 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90. So in the trades, when you're running pipe, we're not allowed to exceed 360 degrees worth of bends. So with a shallower bend, we can get more in. And you know, get more bends in the pipe before we have to put in some kind of a pull box or pulling station or something like that to aid us in pulling. So the shallower bends have more than one use. All right, next up, I'm going to get reset and we're going to show you how to do to the back bend, like we're going to come out of a box and got a wall on our way. All right, bring you back in a second. Okay, well that's the end of making an offset to go over our obstacle here, our box. And what I did want to mention, one last thing, is on every ideal bender, they do give you a shrink chart. That's right there, and these are for all your different angles, and they've got different offsets here, and they go from, they start off at 2, they go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you know, if you had an odd offset, say you had a 12, you could add a 10 and a 2 together, and you use this to calculate your pipe shrinkage. You know, when you make that offset, you know your pipe's going to shrink. And if that's critical, or if you're not just continuing on and heading on down the wall or down up the ceiling or whatever, it's important to know where you're going to end up and calculate your shrinkage. So you can use this to help you calculate your shrinkage for your offsets. All right, let's move on to some 90s and some other things. All right. Okay, I got another simulation for you. This box of parts, just a box of junk here. We're going to just put it somewhere randomly, and we're going to bend a pipe to go from this junction box. We're going to call this a junction box or J box or something. And this box over here, I got it up against the edge of the table, we're going to use that as a wall simulation. So we need a piece of pipe to come out of our junction box, across, make a 90, and come up a wall if this was continuous. And you know what the next trick is? We're going to do it without that. So we're just going to put our tape to the side, and we're going to take our piece of pipe, put it into the wall, like that. And we're going to make a mark right here on the edge, right here, of our junction box. And the trick is now we're going to bend it that direction right there. See my arrow there? So we're going to put it on the star, and we're going to bend it in that direction, and this piece of pipe's going to fit. All right. So that's how you get it set up on the bender, on the star, bend in that direction. And our bend is complete. As you see there. And now this is going to drop in right There. So now we've got we've come out of a box, and we made a sweep, and we've headed up a wall. Alrighty, that's one way to use the star for a back bend. Quick and easy, and sometimes you don't even need a tape measure. So that's a pretty good way to do it. Let's go bend a stub. I'll show you how to make a stub, where you use the arrow and do the deduct, right? Okay, you've pretty much mastered the offset, and you've mastered to the back bend, which is using the star. Now this time I'm going to teach you how to use the arrow. The arrows on an ideal are out here, and here. And if you also notice on there, it'll say stubs, and it's going to give you a deduction right there, and it's cast right in. On a 1/2 inch, it is 5 inches to arrow. So you have to do a deduction of 5 inches. Let's say we needed a 10-inch stub. In other words, I want a piece of pipe to come up, make a sweep, and stub up and be 10 inches to the top. So we're going to come down to 10, but we can make a mark at 10. If that's not right, we need to deduct 5 according to the instructions. We're going to deduct 5, which leaves us with 5. So we made our mark at 5 inches. And now we're going to put that on the arrow. As seen here. And then we're going to bend it up 90 degrees. Now our stub here should be 10 inches. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm going to get you right there. Can you see that? And I'll move the tape off to the side. Okay, so that's a 10-inch stub. That's how you would make a stub. You've learned how to do a stub. You've learned how to do to the back bend using the star, and you've learned how to do an offset today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is all based around the ideal style bender and doing your offsets and stuff using 30 degrees. The Gardner is very different to bend with, and I'm not going to teach you on that. We're gonna stick with one bender type as we go along. I appreciate you guys watching, and we're going to do some more 4-point saddles, 3-point saddles, and things like that, other obstacles in some upcoming videos. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.